Okay, so how are you? I want to ask you a few questions about the event we're doing here today. Let
Yes.
people at home know what we're doing here today, what's our goal, and what's our objectives.
Okay, so we're here in Ballina today now as part of an information drop. We are doing, I guess what's begun on this, but very strong presence here in Ballina of people who are, the best word here is questioning of the government. They're skeptical of the government. They don't believe that the government is telling them the truth about a great number of things. But today we're focused on the excess deaths element, which is obviously kind of going from the COVID era and particularly the vaccination era. Now, if you are a discerning citizen, if you're doing your own research, then you'll quickly discover that what you find in your research is completely contradictory to what the government is saying. Now, obviously, the vaccination era started back in 2020, 2021, and the whole question of excess deaths was obviously going to take a while to percolate through before we have that information. Now we have that information, and yet the government is still completely denying that there's any excess deaths. Basically, the bottom line is what we're saying here is, with the COVID vaccinations, there appears to be a dramatic increase in excess deaths, in excess mortality here in Ireland and worldwide as well, of course. And what we're here today to do is to try and inform the public of this simple fact. These figures exist. They are not being given to you on the mainstream media, the RTE, the newspapers, what have you. And so people like ourselves here that are trying to alert the public to this fact are left with no other recourse than to literally come, stand on the street as people pass, try and hand them leaflets to try and put this information in their hands. Now, what people do with that information is entirely up to themselves. But the first step in getting to the bottom of this, to push back against this, is to literally put that information in the public's hands. And because we get no mainstream exposure whatsoever, this is what we're left with on the streets, trying to educate, inform the Irish public about the fact that there are excess deaths now. And what we're suggesting is that it seems to correlate very cleanly with the vaccination campaign, which started in 2021, and that's why we're here today, to try and inform the public. There is information out there, startling information, shocking information, that is not being given to the general public through our government-sanctioned media, as it were.
I noticed that a lot of the deaths that happened after the rollout of the vaccine on a lot of newspapers and mainstream media were always labeled as sudden deaths, that for healthy people that just died suddenly out of nowhere.
Yes.
Which to me, it struck out instantaneously. I saw that and I was like, something's not right there. People usually just don't suddenly die. Of course it happens in some cases, but the increase in sudden deaths was so big that it just surprised me a lot. I saw a Facebook page called Died Suddenly News, and it was a lot of people posting people that they've known or people that were related to them that died suddenly, and there was 1,000 members, I think over 1,000 members in that group, all trying to say how many people died. And when I saw that website, that page, I was just shocked at the amount of people that actually died suddenly out of the blue when they had no health issues, no problems for most of their lives. And that's what struck out to me. And then when you kind of correlate that to the vaccine, which we know was developed very quickly with a new technology that wasn't really properly tested at the time because it came out so quickly, and because it came out so quickly, I feel like we were the test subjects to that vaccine. And then with the Pfizer documents being released over time, basically saying how much people have passed or had issues with the vaccine, to me it was shocking that wasn't in any news networks whatsoever. That was completely hidden. And first we were told that they're safe and effective. Then they were told they're safe but not as effective as we thought. They don't stop transmission. Every single time they mentioned them, it went down and down and down in effectiveness, and to a point where they just never really worked, because I know they still try to. Thanks. I know that they still try to. I lost my train of thought now. They basically try to hide the fact that the vaccines didn't work properly, and a lot of people got injured after that, and all done, I feel like, on purpose, because they try to hide the fact, and they're still rolling out vaccines and people still take them, unfortunately. And I just want people to kind of realize that maybe that's not the way, because usually with vaccines you used to be, you take one and you should be immune to the virus. This one doesn't work the same way. It's a new technology that clearly doesn't work, because it never stopped anything. It just made people more unhealthy. And
yeah, I would agree. I agree with a huge, pretty much everything you said there. The excess testing in particular, what you talk. First of all, your point you make that everybody seems to have no more than about 2 degrees of separation now from somebody who has, what you said, died suddenly. And in fact, since 2021, this phenomenon of died suddenly, and there's a number of phrases they use, suddenly but peacefully, and this is now a very common phenomenon. As we just said, everybody at least knows somebody that has died suddenly now, recently, and this is being normalized now. There's an awful lot of, I kind of hesitate to use this word gaslighting, but we're being gaslit in so much as we're being told, no, this has always been the case. Now, this has not always been the case. And in terms of this, what you're talking about, this died suddenly thing, I would suggest you actually can go, any day of the week, you can go on to RTE and you can see a story like this. Yeah. Was it even I think it was last Sunday, the young Cork boxer, female boxer, died suddenly. But again, the story is died suddenly but peacefully. And there's no questioning of this now. It's if no. If you're going to question this now, you're a bad person. You're a conspiracy theorist. All these things. This, for me, this is a lot of this now is down to this. Something actually I kind of learned about recently. This politics of obedience. So basically, the general public is told there's a pandemic. They're told the way out of this pandemic is these untested. Absolutely, there are no long-term testing in that. Nobody's even denying that. What they seem to be denying is that's a problem. And as you rightly mentioned as well, in terms of the effectiveness, with literally the word vaccine, which used to mean to inoculate you from getting it, which is what they were claiming at the time. You get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. You have Anthony Fauci over there in America now, being one of the prime kind of ringleaders or cheerleaders for this, who's had COVID 3 times now. So clearly not. So, and actually, I'm not sure it was the World Health Organization literally redefined the word vaccination to mean, oh, it doesn't mean inoculation anymore. It's a symptom control. Well, that's not a vaccination. And there's a number of things about this. But I would just say, yeah, if you're a member of the general public or watching this, you think, oh my God, who are these crazy people? And that. But listen, it absolutely has to be your own research. Question this. Go on to RTE, you'll see the died suddenly but peacefully, day in, day out. You see athletes collapsing, day in, day out. And you're being told this has always been the case. Do your own little bit of research, it has not always been the case. And that is it, that's why we're here today. We're trying to just get the public to think for themselves, to not have this unwavering, unquestioning trust in the government. That is an extraordinarily dangerous situation for any population to be following. You must question this yourself. And what we're doing here is we're trying to give you the little bits of information look, this isn't going to explain the whole thing to you. This is just trying to make that click in your head. Like you're saying, something's not right here. And even if you don't believe what we're saying here, surely you must see something is not right here. What we're doing, the information that we're giving out here today, is just to kind of for you, if you choose to start that journey. That's what we're at today.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the talk, and I appreciate you being here. And let's hope that it gets through to some people.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very
much.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks.